might flick up here towards Xhaka with a shot over the crossbar.
Yeah,
has
good
to
chance.
keep that down.
Has to keep it down. It's a decent chance. Plenty of time to measure that. He's got to get over the ball, get it under the crossbar. Certainly got the power behind it. I think we missed Jack Wilshere. I think we missed someone who can just burst past a player in midfield, create a bit of space. It's all a little bit sideways, all a bit predictable. Not enough pace in the passing. Now Ramsey will make the run behind, but he's not going to burst past a player with the ball. And it's a little bit too predictable from us at the moment.
Beverly says, my son Evan is sitting in the Swansea end with his Gunners Lacazette away shirt hitting underneath his hoodie. These were the only tickets we could get. It was his 13th birthday yesterday, so he really didn't care where he sat as long as he could support Arsenal very quietly in the wrong end. He will be dying to shout when we score. That was before the goal went in as well.
I wonder what he did when the Swansea goal went in. Did he go up and pretend it's, oh yeah, I'm pleased? And Jack's crying inside when that went in.
And Jack says, so another top draw player goes and one arrives. I will miss Ollie G. He's not gone yet, Olivier G. Thought he was utterly fabulous. He was underrated. He scored actually lots of crucial games, deciding goals. Indeed, he was brilliant. He'll be missed. But welcome, Mr. Aubameyang. You obviously know lots of things, Jack, that we don't. Tough tonight, 2-1. Here's the prediction.
It is tough.
Jack knows that Aubameyang is coming and Olivier Giroud is leaving.
Really?
So Jack is the man.
So he gets called before I do?
Yeah. Jack's the man. He knows stuff. Ball is in the hands of Fabianski. And the 45 is nearly up, thumped forward by the ex-gunner. Long, and it's gone straight to Pericek. Baz says, listening in my car tonight, looking forward to seeing the game an Arsenal play tomorrow, but even more waiting for 3 points now. Come on, you Gunners, says Baz. And Melvin says, I'm a loyal big Arsenal fan. Hope to God that Arsenal win and play well. Strengthen the team by bringing in top quality players, not selling them. Hope it's going to be a good transfer window. Warm regards. That's Melvin who's emailed it. Could be a good transfer window. Could be a good January for Arsenal. Obviously, if there are any deals to be done, then we will break the news officially first tomorrow for you. With that 11 o'clock deadline day, Chris Harris with a very early start, he tells me tomorrow. Here is Jordan. Now it's with Clucas, the goal scorer for Swansea. He's going the wrong way at the moment. Ball is fed back towards Mawson. We're deep into added on time. Just a minute of it.
You're up before me tomorrow. You've got the earlier train.
Yeah, but that's because I'm going somewhere completely different. Nothing to do with Arsenal.
Or are you?
Or are you? We can't get to this. There's El Nene's there.
Get out.
Listen, we all know where you're going tomorrow. Half-time, where we're going tonight in terms of the points, well, it's still to be decided. One apiece here, and when Monreal finished expertly from an Ozil pass, we thought, well, this is going to be relatively simple from here on in, but Clucas is very well taken finish at the other end. Means the destination of the points are in the balance, Chris.
Absolutely. Adrian Clark will talk about this at half-time, I'm sure. He mentions in the breakdown a lot when we go to sleep, possibly straight after conceding goals. We've done it after scoring goals. We've done it again, haven't we? And to be honest, we should be beating this side. We're better than them, but we're not playing as well as we should be.
As we hand you back to the boys at Emirates, half-time here at the Liberty, it is Swansea 1, Arsenal 1.
Thank you very much, chaps. Excellent commentary, as always. What have you made of that first period, then? One apiece at half-time. Here's Nicole with all the contact details you need.
Yeah, slightly frustrating first half, and I'm sure you guys have a lot to say. So get your tweets in now using the hashtag SCFCVAFC, and I'll read some of them out later on in the show.
Thanks, Nicole. One apiece then, John. Is that a fair scoreline, or should Swansea City, on the balance of the chances we saw in that first period, should they be ahead?
Balance of chances, yeah. Yeah, we've had 2 last-ditch tackles, one from Ramsey, one from El Neni, which were goal-scoring opportunities. So there's 2, and they've scored another one. So that's 3 potential goals they could have had. It's just worrying, really. I mean, the boys have made a point there. You know, straight after scoring a goal, you concede, and you are at your most vulnerable. But you should have the experience in that team to say, right, just get hold of the ball now. That's what you need to do. Just get hold of the ball, keep the ball, take the edge off the game for 5 minutes, and then go again. You know, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem we've got that experience in the team to do it.
No, you need a bit of nous, don't you? You just need to shut up shop for a few minutes. We often concede a lot of goals straight away after half-time. That's been an Achilles heel down the years, particularly this season, conceded a few goals after scoring as well. It's a concentration issue, isn't it? We've actually got a stat here. We've got an action areas map we can show you from this first period, and what we see here is that Arsenal are dominating territory. They're spending very little time defending inside their own third, are they, John? But look how efficient have Swansea been then to create, I think, 3 times as many chances.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the thing about possession, everybody talks about possession. It's all well and good having possession, but if you don't do anything with that possession, then it's pointless. It's almost propaganda to a degree. You know, there's got to be an end product to it.
Is it part of Swansea's game plan for Arsenal to have those kind of numbers high up the field in order to punish gaps at the other end of the pitch?
Well, whether it's that's how they've set it up to be, that's what it is, you know, and that is a vulnerability. But the problem is that if you're going to have possession of the ball, you've got to have an end product to it. You know, if you don't have an end product, what you see is what Swansea have done. You know, they've got us on the counter and they've had goal scoring opportunities. You know, so it's no good just passing the ball from A to B. There has to be. I mean, I hate going back, but I go to Patrick Vieira and I go to Manu Petit. You know, when the ball came out of the defence for those two guys, their first pass was forward. That's what they were looking for, was a forward pass, not sideways or backwards. It was a forward pass. That alters the pace of the game, because then you turn in defenders, you turn in midfield players, all of a sudden they're running back towards their own goal. If you've got a game like tonight where people are looking at the ball and you're not causing them a problem getting in behind them, they're quite happy with that, and they can, from there, they can hit you on the break.
Well, they've
quite
launched
easily.
a few fabulous breakaways, haven't they, Swansea City? For a side at the basement of the Premier League, they've posed real menace going forwards. But what I'd point out is that one pass down the side is getting them in every time, isn't it? And it seems like out of nowhere, one ball is creating a 2v2 at the back. That can't be right.
Well, no, it's not right. And from a goalkeeper's point of view, when you see that developing, to me it's quite simple, because your centre half marks on the side of the ball, not behind the player, not on the far side. He marks the side of the ball. So anything that gets knocked down the line, past the fullback, the centre half is the man that's making the challenge. That's not happening, because what's happening is the ball gets knocked over the top, the centre half's staying with the forward, and the guy's all of a sudden he's free down the side of you where you're vulnerable, you know, and then he can put a ball into the box.
Yeah, let's talk about the goals briefly. The Arsenal goal, we talked about lots of possession, not much creativity, but the ball in from Mesut Ozil is an absolute peach, isn't it?
That's what he can do. He's got the vision to do that. He sees that pass. It's a fantastic ball in, and it's an invitation. Just put me in the net, please. And that's exactly what happened. There's not too many players that can see that pass.
Wonderful vision from Mesut Ozil. Just curled his cross towards the far post. Hell of a finish, by the way, from Nacho Monreal on the run, on the half volley. Outstanding again from the Spaniard. But just a few moments later, Arsenal concede. Now, we've seen the replays of this goal. We think there are 2 players that are pretty much culpable for this, don't we?
Yeah. Bellerin, for me, when the ball's in your last third, your right back is not the man that's making the run past your midfield player to try and get a pass.
Yeah. So in context, Mesut Ozil's got the ball. He's not in full control. It's a 50-50. He loses possession, but Bellerin has already made a run well in advance.
Absolutely, and what he's done effectively, he's played himself out the game. That's what he's done, because the ball's broken down, 1-2 passes and you're in on goal. And then, even then, you've got Xhaka in the right-back position who almost lets him just Clucas run past him, you know, and you're going, well, you know, a bit of physicality or, you know, something, but there wasn't, or it didn't appear as though there was a recognition of what was happening. Yeah. So for the 2 of them, could do better.
Yes, I think when those 2 see the video of that goal, they won't be too pleased with what they see. Hopefully, they've learned from that experience. Right, both John and myself had the pleasure of playing alongside Martin Keown, who enjoyed 2 fantastic spells with the Gunners as a player. Here is the man we called the Rash, with part 1 of a look back on his illustrious career.
There's only one Keown. There's only one Keown. There's only one Keown. Keown. There's only one Keown.
is only one Martin Keown, a club legend and one of England's most uncompromising defenders. He enjoyed a career of distinction and success, and while he may have strayed during his early years, his heart was always with the Arsenal. Arriving as a youngster, he was ready to take his career by the horns and show what he was capable of.
Dream come true for me. Getting on the train up to London, knew exactly what I was trying to take on. I'd done evening training for a couple of years. Used to step out onto the pitch. We trained at Highbury, and a big sign up saying keep off the grass, and I felt, well, no, I'm going to play here one day, so I'm going to run onto the pitch and pop the ball into the back of the net in the clock end, imaginary, set that scene up for myself. And then the dream came true, but it was a tough road, I can tell you, when I came to live in London and training every day with some outstanding young players.
Martin was part of a remarkable crop of youngsters that progressed through our academy to the first team. The quality of the unit pushing each individual to succeed.
Well, that was a youth team that to be proud of, and you look back and there were so many of the guys got into the first team. It was an honour to be in, work with that group. When you look back, I thought it was just commonplace. I thought every youth team had players of that quality. You know, if we start with Mickey Thomas playing as a defender as he was then, I played alongside Tony Adams at the back. Dave Rocastle was running the operation in midfield. Martin Hayes was playing on the wing, and nobody could live with his pace as a young player. But that was the sort of depth of quality that were there, and it was really difficult to survive that. Once you got through that, I think you could survive. That's really what set me up, I think, to train in the manner that I did. I always was renowned for training as I played, and that was because of the youth team that I found myself in as a kid.
As he started to progress and break into the first team, Martin felt that he was due an increase in his salary. But him and the club didn't see eye to eye on the matter, and he ended up making the decision to leave the club for Aston Villa.
Well, that was just circumstances and a decision made all of my own. I had broken into the first team. I felt that I needed to be rewarded better than the £50 a week pay increase that I was being offered. It was quite bizarre when you look back. I should have gone back and renegotiated. That's what intelligent people do. But I became emotional. I felt that, that I expected a bit better. Nobody wanted what happened. I didn't really want to leave. I found myself in a very difficult situation, and I think it made a man of me going away. But I was very much feeling that it was unfinished business, wanted to come back, was desperate to come back. And I think it was the best decision I ever made.
At Villa and then Everton, Martin grew as a player, but could only watch on as his former teammates tasted success in both the League and League Cup. But then, in 1993, George Graham decided to bring him back to Highbury, and part 2 of his Arsenal career began.
It was like I had to pinch myself. I thought I was in a dream because I couldn't believe, quite frankly, what I'd done. It was really a point of principle. The principle was that I felt that I think young players tend to suffer at clubs where they get a little bit taken for granted. New players coming in, nice big contracts. Don Howe was the manager, more of a coach, and it was just there was a situation where there were a group of us that contracts weren't attended to. And we weren't pushing for contracts. I never even went to the club and asked for a contract. I was so much wanting to stay. I just thought it just would happen. So, no, victim of the circumstances at the time, but it all made me stronger, tougher, and more ruthless. Not just at the negotiating table, but made me more ruthless on the football pitch.
While success would eventually come Martin's way, he would have to wait for his first taste of silverware. Cup-tied for our League Cup and FA Cup double in his first season back.
Well, if we take it back even further than that, I missed a final as a young player, the Floodlit Cup, the Junior Floodlit Cup. None other. Broke, dislocated my elbow, missed the final for that. So when I came back and was cup-tied in '93, and then the Cup Winners' Cup, which I then missed with pulled a hamstring 5 days before the final, I was beginning to wonder, would I ever play in a final? I kind of hung in there, realised that I think I was just trying a little bit too hard. I think the game in question where I pulled the hamstring, I think I was the only one getting a pat on the back at half-time, where everyone else was saving themselves for the Cup Winners' Final, and that was the thing to do around them, be intelligent, you know, ease off slightly, and I certainly didn't. Pulled a hamstring, missed that game, and you know, fortunately we went on to win the match, but I felt I was missing out on yet another final.
That concludes part 1 of Martin's Arsenal story. But join us next week for part 2, as we entered a golden era.
Absolutely great stuff there. And you can see the next part of our reflective with Martin Keown during half-time of the Tottenham game on February the 10th. Right, back to today's game now and your views, which are really, really important to us. Loads of you have been tweeting in, and here's Nicole with some of your thoughts.
Yeah, we've had so many great tweets on your thoughts throughout that first half. So, Baltec says, I love this one. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you the 2018 Ballon d'Or winner, Nacho Monreal. AFCB says, that run from Monreal has absolutely become his trademark. Brilliant ball by Ozil. Can't go through them, go over them. Richie Woodward says, got to love the Nacho man, and great ball by Ozil, by the way. Shame it's cancelled out before I can tweet this. Can't say a Swansea goal hasn't been coming. And E Full Tang says, when will this lot at Arsenal learn the most dangerous moment in the game is the first 5 minutes after scoring a goal? Keep those tweets coming in using the hashtag SCFCVAFC, and you can send your emails into dan@studio@arsenal.co.uk.
Thanks, Nicole. Good points made by all, especially that last one. It's really relevant, isn't it? You cannot afford to switch off when you've scored a goal. You've got to keep things tight. Arsenal didn't, but it is just 1-1. It could be worse. 2 excellent goal-saving challenges, really. We haven't gone into too much detail about them yet, but we're talking the first 15 minutes, Aaron Ramsey and Mohamed Elneny. That was top defending.
Top defending, but worrying defending as well at the same time, you know, because Elneny's was a last-ditch tackle, you know, otherwise the boys through on goal, potentially scores. And also with Ramsey's, you know, that was a last-ditch, you know, he's virtually on the goal line when he makes the block. That's slightly, it's positive in one respect that you got the players to put the foot in, but it's worrying on the other hand by saying, well, you know, those chances weren't hard to come by.
Yes, I wouldn't disagree at all with that assessment. What about in central midfield? I think Mohamed Elneny's been good. He's kept things nice and neat and tidy. He hadn't given the ball away when I looked just before we came back on air at half-time, so he's doing well. But Aaron Ramsey, we feel, is on the periphery of the game, don't we?
It looks as though he's labouring a little bit. You know, he's not played for some time, which doesn't help. You know, he looks very much as though he's short of game time. But he is on the periphery. He needs to get involved in the game a lot more than what he is.
How do we get Alexander Lacazette on the ball more often? Because we've seen him lay on Alex Iwobi for Arsenal's other good chance in that first half, but he's been on the edge of things as well.
He's been on the edge of things because at times he's isolated. You know, he's pushed up against the defenders, and it's very difficult, you know, because you're looking for one man, you know, and that's not the way the Arsenal play. You know, years gone by, you'd knock it up to a big, strong man and he'd hold it up, but that's not the way that he plays either. You know, he needs the ball fed into channels for him to run onto, which, you know, he's not getting at the moment. And it's that cutting edge that we haven't got.
Hopefully he'll get more of that service in the second half, maybe from new boy Henrik Mkhitaryan. Right then, it's time to head back to South Wales now for live audio commentary of the second period with your match summarisers, Chris Harris and Dan Roebuck.
Welcome back. The second half is just underway here. First few seconds, 1 apiece after 45 minutes of action at the Liberty Stadium, and the first incident of this second period is that Arsenal have won a free kick just inside the Swansea half after Leroy Fer fell foul of the law. What's going to happen in this second half, Chris?
Well, Petr Cech will not keep his 200th clean sheet. He's been waiting a while now, and I think that tells a story. We've just not been watertight away from home all season. But what's happened in games I've covered with you recently this season is that we do seem to step up the tempo in the second half. They get a bit of a regroup, a bit of a reorganisation. Arsene Wenger chooses his words carefully, and we tend to get an improved performance. And I'm hoping for more of the same today. I think we may see Mkhitaryan. In fact, as I look down to my left, he's just gone for a warm-up. I think this game may be made for Giroud, because what we don't have at the moment against these towering Swansea centre-backs. There's a real penalty box presence. Lacazette's been kept very quiet. And I think Giroud could make a difference in this game as well.
Yeah, Mkhitaryan warming up at the moment. We restarted once again after that free kick, and the ball is at the feet of Mohamed Elneny for Arsenal. Moves it over to the right-hand side and Hector Bellerin. Here is Elneny once again. Now it's with Mesut Ozil, who will turn away from Klukas and then try and slide it forward for Lacazette. Will turn on the edge of the box, looks for Alex Iwobi. Iwobi onside. Swansea fans believe that he wasn't, but Arsenal don't really make the most of it. The ball is cleared away. This is an email from Gunnar, who's in North Carolina. It says, I think Arsenal winning whatever is out of the question. I'm not sure Chet will see his clean sheet tonight. This is before the goal, I think. From what I'm hearing in the web commentary, we should be dominating these guys. Will Oli G go to Chelsea? And hello to my boy Neil in Albuquerque. That's from Gunnar, who's in North Carolina.
You knew that was Albuquerque? ABQ?
I presume so.
Very good.
What else?
Very good.
What else can it be? If it's not Gunnar NC, let me know.
Good shout there.
This is Monreal. Now it's with Mustafi. Back towards Xhaka. Right-hand side is Elneny. Now it's with Hector Bellerin. Yeah, a lot of emails in, so we're probably backtracking to one or two that came during the goals in the first half. But if they're pertinent points, I'll read them out. Keep them coming in. And if I do miss them off, my apologies. But really good response for our email tonight. Let's see what Bellerin can do for Arsenal right-hand side. Up against Olsen. Looks to knock it back here for Xhaka. Now it's with Elneny. Closed down by Dairon Ayew. He's got through the kilometres in the first half, that's for certain. This is Mesut Ozil, though, looking to make something happen for Arsenal. Switches it to the right-hand side, Bellerin. First time back towards Granit Xhaka. Now it's with Bellerin again. Up against Olsen, through for Elneny. Inside the penalty area, just crowded out. And Arsenal lose possession. And it's Mawson that comes with possession over on that left-hand side, but